And guess what? Stephen A. owes the Knicks an apology, okay? They have the far better team. They have the better coach. They have the better roster. They play harder on the defensive side of things. Look, the Brooklyn Nets should be named the Brooklyn Hostess Cupcakes because they're creamy and they're soft in the middle, okay? When you think about what they have done thus far defensively, and time again, I come on here and I try to tell Stephen A., who's always preaching about offense is not going to get it done if you're not going to go on the other end and defend. And when you look at it, think about their last 3 games. Ja Morant and Desmond Baines both had 38 points apiece, okay? And Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I believe, had 37, and they lost, okay? And then you go down to Milwaukee. Giannis punished them in the paint. 41 points, I believe it was. Half or more was in the paint. And then last night, Luka just had it his way. So when I look at the New York Knicks and I look at R.J. Barrett and I look at Jalen Brunson, who's been playing at an all-star caliber level right now, and you look at Big Robinson down there holding down the middle along with Julius Randle, and at the point guard position, you could mix it up by throwing in D. Rose and playing D. Rose and Brunson together. You still have the young stud in Emmanuel Quickly, and I must say, in the short minutes that Obi Toppin plays off the bench, he has a serious impact. This Knick roster is feisty. They get down and dirty. They get gritty. They're not afraid of anyone. They're sharing the ball, passing up good shots to get great shots. And if the Nets stay the way that they are with the same coach and Steve Nash, the Knicks will have a far better season than the Brooklyn Nets, and the Knicks will actually make the playoffs, and the Nets won't.
I think you done lost your damn mind, but it's good to see you. And I must admit to you the other day, as far as I'm concerned, NBA is Stephen A's world. The show was made the second he was telling his son to hush up. You know what I'm saying? That was the most hilarious moment of the night for me when he was on national television telling the children to pipe down. I loved it. I love you, Big Perk. But I respectfully disagree, and I disagree for several reasons. Number one, you are right. I do focus a little bit too much on offense sometimes, but damn it, I ain't changing. I think Kyrie and KD are those dudes, and I think this initial 1-4 start, I think it's indicative of the fact that better coaching is required more so than anything else. They are a bit soft because they're a bit thin on their front line. We get all of that. Obviously, there's going to be some modifications that need to be made in regards to that. It's a long season. But I will tell you this. I'm not down on the Knicks. I'm happy with what I'm seeing thus far, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I would remind you that their first victories are against Detroit, Orlando, and then last night against a Charlotte Hornets squad without Bridges and without LaMelo Ball. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get excited as of yet. And then Thibodeau, he's got something to prove in this regard. Does he know how to pace players? We got to pay attention to that because when you can see them early, and then as the season wanes, they might wear down a little bit. We got to pay attention to that, okay? When I think about the Brooklyn Nets, you can't have 2 stars like KD and Kyrie and tell me that the New York Knicks are going to be a better team. Now, I think the New York Knicks might beat them a couple of times this year. I think the New York Knicks got a chance to make the playoffs, no doubt about it. But I'm not jumping off that Nets bandwagon as of yet. They had a tough schedule early on. I get all of that. I understand it. I mean, you're playing New Orleans. I think New Orleans is a legit title contender when everybody's healthy, okay? They played New Orleans. They played Memphis. They played Milwaukee. They played Dallas. That ain't Orlando, Detroit, or Indiana. Or Charlotte. So let's pump the brakes just a touch. I mean, this losing streak, this 3-game losing streak that Brooklyn is on, that ends Saturday night. That ends tomorrow night because they got Indiana coming in. Matter of fact, back-to-back games against Indiana. Expect them to be 2, 3, and 4 before the weekend is up because they beaten Indiana. They beaten Indiana. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. So I just look at it from that standpoint, and I understand where you're coming from. You're not off your rocker for saying what you're saying at this particular moment in time. It's an 82-game schedule. We said we got 78 games, 77 games to go. I'm not concerned. I really am not. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.